I remember the night vividly. It was spring break and I was a senior in high school. We were heading down for a week of fun in the sun in Florida. Somewhere along the way, traffic came to a screeching halt, and we inched along slowly for what seemed like hours. As we got closer, we could see the flashing lights and hear the sirens in the distance, long before the scene ever came into view. As we made our way past the horrific wreckage, I recall glancing over and seeing the crumpled remains of a motorcycle strewn across the highway. And off in the distance, all I could make out was a tarp covering over what was obviously the rider. It was clear he or she didn't make it. Even though this was many years ago, the image still haunts me at times. It was so sad. Here we were, starting out an exciting adventure, while this poor soul would never get the chance to see another day. This is an example of just one of the many tragic motorcycle accidents that take place every year. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that motorcycle-related deaths have increased 55% since 2000. While it's true, even in an automobile, we put ourselves at risk each and every time we take to the open road. It's a proven fact that no one can deny. There are many more hazards to look out for when riding a motorcycle. And certain precautions must be taken to safeguard riders to the fullest extent possible. The most vital way to do this is to always wear a helmet when choosing to ride. According to an article published by consumerreports.org in July 2014, getting more riders to wear helmets is important. As more motorcyclists have taken to the road over the last few years, rider fatalities have grown even more rapidly, especially compared to cars. In 2012, over 4,900 motorcyclists died on the roads. That's 15% of the total highway fatalities, and an increase of 33% from 2003 to 2012. While I'm not a rider myself, I can relate to the joy and thrill that they crave, as I enjoy being a passenger from time to time. The sound of the bike, the open air and sense of freedom, along with being up close and personal with nature and your surroundings, it is an undeniable way to detach from daily stresses in the material world and just allow yourself to get lost in the moment. But I also strongly believe that riding a motorcycle comes with certain responsibilities that should not be forsaken. Wearing a helmet is the most effective piece of equipment you can wear while riding a motorcycle, and it should be viewed as part of the overall unit, kind of like the ignition you put in the key to start it. Let us now focus on some of the overwhelming evidence supporting the need for riders to consider the facts and make the conscious and practical choice to always wear a helmet. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration states that motorcycles are only 2% of the registered vehicles nationally, but motorcyclist fatalities account for 5% of total fatalities each year. More than 80% of all motorcycle crashes result in injury or death to the motorcyclist. Per mile driven, a motorcyclist is 16 times more likely to die in a crash than an automobile driver. Head injury is the leading cause of death in motorcycle crashes. Riders who don't wear helmets and who experience a crash are 40% more likely to sustain a fatal head injury. As most of us are aware, as of 2012, Michigan ended the mandatory universal helmet law and became one of 28 states with partial helmet laws, meaning anyone over the age of 20 can legally ride without a helmet as long as all the requirements are met. In late 2013, a state report indicated that Michigan helmet use had dropped from 99.4% in 2006 down to 73% at the time that this report was released. This drop in helmet use in Michigan is starting to show up in accident statistics, with researchers concluding that 129 deaths occurred in Michigan during 2012 compared to 109 in 2011. That's an increase of almost 12%. While these numbers might not seem staggering to you, would you feel the same if someone you knew and loved fell under this statistic? A very close friend of mine lost her uncle almost exactly a year ago due to a late-night motorcycle crash in which he was not wearing a helmet. He was only 38 years old. While I don't know whether it was determined with certainty that he would have survived had he been wearing a helmet, I can't help but wonder. After observing the devastation and heartbreak that his family and friends endured, along with the immense outpouring of support from the local community and organizations in which he was involved, I found it very touching and overwhelmingly emotional, even for me to witness. It was so obvious what a positive impact he'd made on many in his short life. I don't wish for anyone to have to face this reality and learn to live with the grief and pain if there's even a chance that it could be avoided. Now is the time to act. We need to increase our awareness of this problem. Regardless of the recent trend toward the repealing of existing helmet laws, people need to remember that they still have a choice, and it needs to be clear to them what that choice should be. Believe it or not, in the most recent survey results done by the Advocates for Highway and Auto Safety, the majority of Americans favor laws requiring motorcyclists to wear helmets, an astounding 81%. It's all about education and being open-minded, as well as safety conscious. A recent study posted on the website saferoads.org has shown that motorcycle helmets are 69% effective in preventing brain injuries and 42% effective in preventing motorcyclist deaths. For years, critics of helmet laws have led crusades against wearing them, claiming myths such as helmets break necks, block vision, and impair hearing. According to the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, helmet effectiveness has been confirmed by scientific studies, and these claims have been consistently disproved. They also state that a good helmet actually makes riding more fun due to the comfort factor. It cuts down on the wind noise roaring by your ears and wind blast on your face and in your eyes, and deflects bugs and other objects flying through the air. It even contributes to easing possible changing weather conditions and reducing rider fatigue. Further, although rider training is essential to not only remain fully aware of the laws and gain advice and education regarding the correct equipment to purchase, as well as to learn how to properly prepare and handle certain situations and hazards they may encounter while riding, it should be stressed that it never be used as a substitute for a helmet in regards to minimizing the risk of a crash. By remaining open to the facts and taking precautions seriously, riders will see that the only logical option is to wear a helmet at all times when riding a motorcycle. There are just too many unknown factors out there, and it doesn't matter how safe you are. Accidents happen all the time. That's why they're called accidents. By choosing to wear a helmet, you're not giving up your freedom or rights, but rather are taking a more sensible approach to safeguard something you should value most, your life. Think about your family. Think about your children. Think about your friends. So many people will be affected if something happened to you. Put your personal opinions and reasoning aside and be honest with yourself. If you can decrease your chances of surviving a motorcycle crash by making this one simple change, why is there even a question of why? Thank you.
Very good.
And I just want to say thank you to my audience, and I'm going to whip the camera around the room so you can all wave. Make sure that we can see you. Did you see yourself there?
That was my uncle.
Yeah, I read it on Facebook. We rode motorcycles for the first 10 years of our marriage. Then